Author's Prefaces for Agamemnon. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Expatriate in Bangor, Maine. Agamemnon by Aeschylus. Translated by Edmund Doige Anderson Morshead, 1849-1912. Author's Prefaces. First Preface. Aeschylus, son of Euphorion, an Athenian of the deme of Eleusis, was born B.C. 525. He consecrated his life to the tragic art from his youth upwards. Yet he is held to have been a valiant soldier, and with his brother Cynaegirus to have fought at Marathon, and at Salamis, and at Plataea, as some say. Afterwards, being at variance with the Athenians, he went away from them unto Sicily, and dwelt at the court of Hiero, tyrant of Gela, and was held by him in high honour. He died in his 69th year by a strange fate, whereof he had been warned in an oracle, saying, "A stroke from heaven shall slay thee." For as he was walking on the shore, an eagle, that had snatched up a tortoise into the air, let it drop, and it fell upon him, and he died. Such is almost all that we are told, and more than we can be said to know certainly of the life of the poet, whose masterpiece I have done my best to render into English verse, with the hope of helping one or two of those to whom the original is a closed book to share in its treasures. The remaining fragments of tradition, the cause of his quarrel with his countrymen, the statement that he divulged the sacred mysteries, remain, not now to be verified. Of those given above, the tale of his death has been preserved for its striking singularity. It has the authority of story, and no more. To his familiarity with war, by land and sea, his surviving dramas bear the strongest witness. There is a priori likelihood and intrinsic evidence, and some external testimony, of his having shared in one or more of the great battles which saved the Western world. Nor does his departure from Athens, to whatever cause it was due, nor his residence, apparently on two separate occasions, in Sicily, admit of doubt. A vague statement that his poetry was inspired by wine, a portraiture of him by the pen of Aristophanes in the Frogs, intended, as I am convinced, those of Euripides and Socrates by the same hand were intended, mainly as a literary portrait of the author and teacher, not a delineation of the man as he was. Some notices from Aristotle of the improvements introduced by him into the arrangements of the dramatic stage. These, and a few others, form the whole of our scanty information respecting the life of Aeschylus, son of Euphorion. Stat magni nominis umbra. Of his works there remain to us 7 dramas only, out of a very large number. Fragments or notices bring up the total to 78 plays, of which the titles are known. If we can judge of those we have not in any degree, by those which we have, and many of the fragments lead us towards such an estimate, the chaos of lost things holds no equal treasure. But it is not now to be rescued. In his own words, "Endistois pelithontos utis alka." Perhaps a list of the surviving dramas may be useful to those wishing to form an idea of the poet's scope and range. These plays, in the chronological order that seems most probable, are: 1. The Suppliant Maidens. The scene is laid at Argos. 2. The Prometheus Bound. The scene is on a Scythian peak, looking down from afar upon the Euxine. 3. The Persians. Scene, the tomb of Darius at Susa, the treasure city of the king of Persia. 4. The Seven against Thebes. Scene, the city of Thebes in Boeotia. 5. The Agamemnon. 6. The Libation Bearers. And 7. The Furies. Of these 3 last plays, which form a consecutive whole, called a trilogy, and yet are individually complete, the scene is Argos or Mycenae. Note. Argos and Mycenae are in reality about 6 miles apart, in the great Coilon Argos, wide valley of Argolis. The relics of the dynasty of Atreus are undoubtedly at Mycenae. Aeschylus, however, calls the scene always Argos, not caring to particularize about a district so well known. The fact
Sample complete. Ready to continue?